Alright, so we have our two enemies now. We have the dog enemy and the trap enemy, and we're going to add two more enemies for the Kiwi to have to avoid. One is going to be a stoat and the other one an owl. So the stoat behaves a little bit like the dog, but the Kiwi can also jump on it to kill it, which will increase its score. This object cannot be a child of the trap because the collision will work in a different way from the trap and the dog. So on this one, we are going to create a new pair of left and right facing stoats. So we'll have our sprites, sprite, stoat, left. So sprite, stoat, left. And we will also have sprite, stoat, right. And while we're at it, we're also going to create our dead stoat. That's what it's going to look like, a bit smushed when the Kiwi stomps on it. A little bit of game violence here. So our sprite, stoat, dead. And also remember to keep your good naming, because it can get confusing, and we always have our SPR and also underscores for no caps, no gaps, probably is the good rule to follow. So what we want to do is we're going to have an object for the stoat. So obj stoat, and we will start that with the right facing stoat. And to this we want to add a create event and have it start moving, and it will move fixed, and we'll put this one so that it's moving at a speed of 2 to the right when it starts, a little bit slower than the dog. And then we also need to have a collision with the marker because it's going to pace as well, so similar to the dog. And we're just going to be using the stoat sprite instead of the dog sprite, but we are going to have it follow the similar actions. So just to review what we want it to do, if the direction, so we have to have like a test variable here. So we're testing if the direction is equal to 0. That means that it's moving to the right. And so if that happens, and when it collides, then we want to change its sprite, and here we'll have it change into the left facing stoat. The left, have to pick the correct one, the left facing stoat. Else, so otherwise, it must be coming from the left, so we want to change that into the right facing stoat. And the last thing we want to do when it has a collision is tell it to reverse its horizontal direction, and of course that applies to itself. So this will have that pacing action, and I'll pull that out again. So if the direction variable is equal to 0, so if it's coming from the right when it hits the marker, then change it into the left so that it appears to flip. Else it must be coming from the left when it hits the marker, so we need to change it into the right stoat, and then reverse the horizontal direction so it paces it the other way. So the first thing to do is put some markers and put a stoat in the room so that we can test that part, the pacing part, and make sure that that's working. So in our room, we'll add some markers. Oops, I added a stoat. We'll add the marker first. I'm going to put my markers outside and see how that works. One a little bit outside. And then put the stoat object in. We'll test one first. We might need to move it up, but the tail is lower down than with the dog, so it may work where it is. So yes, the stoat is pacing, the dog is pacing. So that does work. The next thing that we have to move on to is what happens when there's a collision. So we need to add a collision, and when there's a collision, we're going to have a squashing sound, so we need another sound. And this one is going to be sound squash. The squashed stoat. And then we'll create our collision event. So with the Kiwi, what happens when the Kiwi collides with the stoat? And what we want to happen is, the first thing, we have to find out if it's colliding from head-on, so it's a head-on collision, and if the Kiwi just runs into the stoat, the Kiwi loses a life. But if it's falling on it, so it's jumped up and it's falling on it and it squishes it, then the stoat's going to lose the life. So we actually have to test the direction of the collision. And this is a little bit different than anything that we've done before. So first of all, we are going to have one of our variables that we're going to test. So test this variable, and what are we testing? Well, the variable here is v-speed, or vertical speed. And we're saying if the vertical speed is larger than 0, then the Kiwi must be falling, and that applies to self. So since this is the Kiwi that we're applying this action to, then we say if the Kiwi vertical speed is larger than 0, it must be going down, it must be falling. So therefore, when it collides with the stoat, it must be able to squash it. So if it's larger than 0, then we want to do everything within the blocks. So we're going to play that sound of the stoat squashing. And then we are going to create an instance of the squashed object, squashed or dead stoat. And I think I haven't created that object, so I'm going to just click OK and get out of that for a moment. And we need an object that is our Stoat, which is dead, and it's going to use the dead Stoat sprite. So now I can go back and finish my collision. So when it is colliding again with the object Stoat, we're going to play the sound of squashing. We are going to create an instance of the dead one. So object dead Stoat. Now this is where it can be a little bit confusing because we want to create this instance at 0, 0 relative, but we don't want it at relative to the Kiwi because then the Kiwi will have a dead Stoat on top of it and that will look odd. We want the dead Stoat to appear where the live one was, wherever that one is. So we say to create a new object dead Stoat at 0, 0 relative to the other thing, which is going to be the actual Stoat, not the Kiwi. And then we also need to destroy. So we're going to destroy the other, which is the Stoat. So we've created a dead Stoat. We're destroying the running Stoat or the live Stoat. So that's why we put other in there. And we are also going to increase our score. So by killing the Stoat, we get to increase our score by 50. That's where that relative comes in. So we're adding 50 to the existing score. And then we need to end our block. So that's all what happens if the v speed, if the vertical speed is larger than 0. Play the squash sound, create a new instance of the object dead Stoat, and remember putting it at 0, 0 relative to the live Stoat. We destroy the object at the same, just right after, but to us it'll seem instantaneously, the live Stoat object, so that's gone, and then we increase our score. Otherwise, we must have collided with it from a head-on collision. We must have run into it, and so therefore we need to be destroyed. So else, and we'll do everything within these brackets. So else, we're going to play that sound of the squawking. We are going to sleep, a little bit of a pause for 1 second or 1,000 milliseconds. Then we have to destroy the instance of the Kiwi. So this is why it's self this time, and why the other time it was other. And then we have to restart the room. And you can pick a transition effect if you would like. And then also always remember to tidy up end your code block here. And then it's time to test what happens. So we know what happens already with the worms and the traps and the dog, but we're not sure about what's going to happen with the Stoat. Now where I've placed this is going to be a little bit tricky to test. May have to have a running jump off of this platform. Oh, that worked. So I was able to land on the stoat. Since it knew it was coming from above, it actually squashed the stoat, and it also gave me an increase in my score. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on the trap to restart the room, and now test what happens when we collide with the stoat just in a head-on way. Oh, I've landed on it. I've killed it twice. Have to actually not be clever. Oh, I keep smashing the stoat. And not even on purpose. This is like Kiwi Kai bloopers. There we go. So I've been able to test it, and it all works as it should. So we'll save the game and stop sharing for now. So that is the stoat enemy.